Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Spectre6 here. Today I got something that I'm not happy about, and I'm sure most of you, any of you who are gun owners really probably aren't happy about. And I'm of course talking about the bipartisan gun control bill that was just signed into law. I think it was today. I think it was this morning that it was signed into law. It might have been yesterday. I can't remember. And I kind of just wanted to talk about it and just, express my feelings on it. Yeah, I'm not happy, guys. I'm really not happy. There's certain things about it that I'm okay with, the other things that I think are going to become a huge problem. For those of you that don't know, this bipartisan gun control bill has 4 points to it. The first point, if I remember correctly, was extended background checks for anyone under the age of 21, incentives for state red flag laws, it closes the boyfriend loophole, and then funds for mental health and school safety. And I'm going to be talking about each individual point, my thoughts on it, what I think about it, what I think it's going to do, if I think it's going to be a problem, if I think it's actually going to help. So let's start with the first one. I am okay with enhanced background checks on anyone under the age of 21. And the reason I'm okay with this is because when I look at teenagers, 18-year-olds, 18, 19, 20, 21, young adults, I don't see adults. I see children, especially in the current climate that we see ourselves living in with all the woke BS that's out there, all the extreme activism that's out there. I see children. I don't see adults. I thought about this one for a while. When they first started talking about it, it was brought to the house and everything. And I even had discussions with some of my buddies. I have friends that are from a different generation. They're older than me. And I know plenty of people that are older than me, different generation, and I've even seen it for myself. People today do not mature at the same rate that they used to. In fact, it actually takes longer, and some people don't even mature at all. They still remain children in adult bodies, especially mentally. And what I mean by that is just take, let's see, I was born in the early 90s, so let's use the early 90s as an example. That was before we had online gaming. It was before computers were really, technologically savvy. They were still very basic. They weren't as powerful, nowhere near as powerful. We didn't really have cell phones. I mean, we did, but we didn't. They were like these big blocky things. We didn't have all of the luxuries that we have today. And during those days, people would actually go outside, play when they were children, indulge in their imaginations, and, just go outside, enjoy the fresh air, the sunshine, spend time with their families. And just based off of everything that I've seen in my personal experience, I'm not saying this always happens, but this is just coming from what I've seen. That shit doesn't happen anymore because everyone's always inside on their phones, on their tablets, playing, video games. I mean, hell, I play a lot of video games, but I mean, I still go outside. I still go and do stuff. I still hang out with friends and family. And I was raised really well by my mother, and I love my mom to death. And I didn't grow up with a sense of childlike mentality that people are now. They don't spend time with their families. They don't really go out with their friends. All they do is sit home, play Xbox or PlayStation or whatever the hell they want to play on. They're always on their phones. They're on TikTok. They're on, social media. Fuck social media, by the way. I'm sorry, but I have to say it. Fuck social media. Social media is a lot of the reasons we have the problems that we do now. And see, that's the other thing. Social media. A lot of it boils down to social media for me. Everyone feels like they're safe behind a cyber screen, like they can say and do whatever they want from behind a computer. And it influences so many different things, especially children. Child suicide rates are going up still, you know? Bullying, especially cyberbullying, harassment, all that stuff. Social media. When I was growing up, social media was not a established entity quite yet. In fact, the only, I remember we had AOL. I don't know if that counts as social media, but then we also had MySpace. And then when Facebook came about, that's when it really, was going to the top. That's when social media really started taking off. I didn't have that stuff growing up, really. A lot of people didn't. So a lot of people, and we also didn't have, our cell phones. We heard about the news from the television and newspapers. And so, whenever there was, a shooting, for example, I'll just use a shooting. You would see it in your newspaper, on the news. A lot of people back then wouldn't have immediately gone towards blaming an entire group of people. They would have actually been like, oh my God, how did this happen? They would wait for the investigation to be completed. They would release the details, and they'd be like, they would actually make informed opinions about everything. They didn't just go off of what was being blindly said from trolls on the internet and social media and news media. And because we have all that stuff now, it has degraded the maturity rate of humans. This is my personal opinion. I feel like it's very much justified because I see it every fucking day of my life. Because people are not as mature as they once were when they are young adults, I am perfectly fine with extended background checks for anyone under 21. Because they're still fucking children these days. Next up, the incentives for state red flag laws. Yeah, this is the first one that I'm super unhappy about. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one. Anyone who is a gun owner knows about, red flag laws because they've been being talked about for a long time now. The only thing I really have to say about it is that they're going to be abused. They will abuse the shit out of these so-called red flag laws that they could potentially put down. They will abuse the hell out of the power that such a law would give them. And I think it is a form of persecution towards gun owners. Now, there are people out there that shouldn't own guns, but they are the minority of gun owners. Most gun owners are law-abiding citizens who are just getting constantly persecuted. And it's just, these red flag laws are just going to make persecution of law-abiding citizens so much easier for the gun control lobbyists and anti-gun people. I can already feel it. It's so uncomfortable. It worries me. Most of us that own guns don't intend to do harm to anybody. We have guns because we appreciate them. They are tools. We like going to the range. We like shooting at steel and paper targets, cardboard targets, whatever you like shooting at. And we like to be able to execute our Second Amendment rights to own a firearm for personal protection and protection of others. Because we are the militia. It's the Second Amendment. We are the militia. We have a right, and we intend to execute that right. I conceal carry every day because I want to be able to have the means to defend myself and or another person if I really had to. So what I think these red flag laws could end up doing is you could be sitting on your porch, cleaning a rifle or whatever. A neighbor who's anti-gun sees you through their window and is just like, oh, he's got a gun! He's got a gun! And then report you. And then you have your guns taken away over something really fucking stupid. That is how abusive I could see red flag laws getting. Next up, the so-called boyfriend loophole. So I'm in the gray area on this one because, okay, this is how I'm going to explain it. If you are in a relationship and you get accused of domestic abuse, are arrested, tried, and proven guilty, and then have your guns and everything taken away from you, I am perfectly fine with that, because someone like that should definitely not own a gun. But what I don't like, and what I am not a fan of, and based off of the way that they've been talking about this and wording it, this is how I think it's going to be. You're in a relationship, and your significant other accuses you of abuse. They will show up and take your guns right off the bat. And then you would have to prove your innocence, your state of mind, to get your guns back. You would have to do that regardless. Like if you actually did do it and were tried, and you'd still obviously be fighting to, prove innocence and stuff like that. But with this particular one, it sounds like for someone that actually is innocent or would be innocent, would have their Second Amendment rights stripped from them, even though they did absolutely nothing. Their significant other just wanted to fuck them over. That's the way that it sounds. That's the way that it comes off to me. You just have to get, someone would just have to make a phone call, be like, yeah, he's abusing me. They knock on your door, they arrest you, they take your guns. Before anything, before you're even tried, before you're even actually charged with anything. They just go in, take your guns. You could be the most innocent person in the world, and your rights have just been stripped from you when you did nothing. And sometimes even I could totally see someone who is completely innocent trying everything in their power, spending their hard-earned money on the legal fees, and still being found guilty. Especially men. So yeah, guys, I totally see that being abused just as bad, if not more so, than red flag laws. Because to me, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about people being so immature now, that it all kind of ties in together. And it just creates a whole new special kind of problem for law-abiding citizens. And mark my words, there are some people that will do exactly that. There are some officials that will push so hard to make being a gun owner absolutely miserable and inconvenient and just nothing but constant stress. This is one of those things that I think we really do need to fight. The last one I actually do like. However, I do not think they're actually going to make an effort on this one. And that is, they have set aside funds for mental health and school safety. Now, while I do see them actually using those funds to improve school safety, I do not see them putting a lot of that money towards mental illness and mental health care. Because when you actually look at it, and us reasonable people do look at this, when you see a school shooting, when you see a shooting in a mall, a mass shooting, just any kind of shooting, more often than not, it is done by an individual who is either mentally ill or having some kind of mental episode. They don't even have to be mentally ill. They could have just been so stressed out and depressed and angry, and they just snapped. These are the people that carry out these horrific crimes, these horrific acts. And it's all because they were struggling mentally. But the gun controllers, the left, all those people lobbying for more gun control, they refuse to see this. They see a shooting, they go straight to blaming every gun owner. They blame us as a group, as a whole. They don't actually blame the person that did it. They don't actually take the time to wait until an investigation is complete so they can get all the facts, or at least all the facts that they're able to get. They just go immediately to blaming the gun, when it's almost always a person with mental illness or mental instability that causes these things. Most people can't afford mental health care. It is expensive, and most insurance companies don't cover things like therapy. They don't. You have your normal health care. You say you go in for surgery, whatever, your insurance covers it. You pay your copay. Good to go, right? It doesn't happen with mental health care. Most of it is never covered. And even insurance companies that do cover, you have to they have certain requirements that you need to meet before they'll start covering it. Therapy is expensive. Most people don't go because they can't afford it. And when you leave something untreated, eventually it gets to a boiling point, especially when it comes to mental health. But they will not see that. I'm glad that they put this down in this bill, because it's absolutely something that needs to be addressed, but I don't see them actually making the effort to make it better, to make it easier for people that are looking to get mental health care and for the people that need it. I just don't see it. I literally think it was just written down as a people pleaser, but it is going to be the thought in the back of the head. It may not even be a conscious thought. It'll just be there somewhere. They'll just be like, oh, we talked about this, right? Yeah, we talked about this. But we'll get to it. No, the fuck you won't. So many people struggle mentally that it's just mind-boggling why they don't try to make it easier. It's like they don't give a shit about your mental health. They don't really want to help. They only care about their fucking job. So they write this stuff down to please people, when in reality they're not even going to do anything about it. I'm ranting. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to get what I feel off my chest, because it's just going based off of history. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to push what they actually want to push. Red flag laws, the boyfriend loophole, background checks. They're going to push that stuff. Mental health, they won't. School safety, they might. But mental health, they won't. Because they refuse to see that as the actual cause of someone committing a horrific crime. It's usually the case. If it's not drugs, it is mental health. It is simple as that. Let me know what you guys think about this. Sorry I went on a little bit of a rant there. I do apologize, but I had to get it off my chest. I just had to give you guys my honest thoughts and opinions regarding this new gun control legislature that was just signed into law. So definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I got some insurgency videos coming out here soon. I'm going to be dropping one, I think, later tonight. Should be up by the early hours tomorrow morning. It is Saturday. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know weekends are very short. I hate that. No one likes waking up super early Monday morning to go to work. They just wake up and it's just like, ugh, weekends are not long enough. I get you. I totally get you. But if it's any consolation, next week is the 4th, Independence Day. So hopefully you get a day off for that. So again, I've been talking about this for a while. Stay tuned for my shooting videos with my Modern Warfare 2 AK build, my ACR. I'm going to be filming those very, 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 very soon. Look forward for that video. Thanks again. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spectre 6. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you guys next time. Take care.